Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 16, the chapter is known as Daivi Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the yoga of distinction between the divine and demoniac wealth. The wealth term may dilute you. What type of wealth? Wealthy. Can be demoniac type of wealthy, or can be divine wealth. That all those points I have already discussed. But now you have to understand, if you are building up demoniac wealth, gates of hell are inviting you for a grand feast. Twenty-first verse. Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nashanam kamah krodha tatha lobha tasmat etatrayam tyajet. There are three gates to hell which are the destroyer of the soul. They are lust, anger, and greed. Kama, krodha, lobha. These three must be renounced. Let's try to understand all details about it. We have gone into the description of Daivi Sampat. Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi, fearlessness, purity of heart, being rooted in jnana and yoga, forbearance, and all those divine qualities. That's the divine wealth. Your mind must be intent upon counting those divine coins, putting them in your treasury. Also remember, Asuri Sampat, the summary of Asuri qualities. Dambha. Dambha is hypocrisy. Darpa, conceit. Abhiman, inflated pride. Krodh, anger. Parushya, harsh speech. Atiman, exaggerated notion of one's personality. Look, how am I? That type of thing. Nobody is like me. But all those that I have described, they come down to 6 malas. Malas are called impurities. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. It's good to remember these for spiritual aspirants. As long as this mala dominates your mind, mala will be always there. You live in a house, every day it gets mala and you have to go on removing it. But if you allow the mala to go on staying, and think of all the troubles they are waiting for, allergic reactions, etc. Gita mentions, Krishna mentions in this verse, three malas: kama, krodha, lobha. Kama is perverted desire for pleasure. Every desire within you is a resource. Direct in the right way, and you prosper, you evolve. If you direct it in a wrong way, just to give a crude illustration, just food. How tasty it is. How human mind gets fascinated. How fortunate will I be if I were to take taste of food from 300 spots, best spots of this earth. And I'm not imagining it, this is just reality in many masses, many minds. But that type of life that simply wants pleasure has no purpose. That's a demoniac movement. We're heading towards the big gate of hell. So while we are talking about kama, krodha, and lobha, krodha is anger, lobha is greed. There are three more that are implied: Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. Moha is delusion or infatuation. Mada, intoxicating pride. Matsarya, jealousy. Allow a nest to build up in your heart for stinging bees. That's called jealousy. For no reason. You go and burn it. Also letting you little more extension to the understanding. All religions have the same goal. The biblical tradition, Satan comes with a special signature on his head. How do you know he is Satan? Move his hair. And what's there? 666. Six vikaras in well-developed state. Six vikaras that are in subtler state. Six vikaras that are in the root stage. You recognize that, you recognize the head of the Satan. That's the way Satan is. Now, just at this stage, you need to understand that there are three great stages in spiritual progress. First stage called Mano-Nash. When you control kama, krodha, and lobha in a profound way, your mind enjoys serenity in all conditions. And if bala increases, serenity is a matter of past or a matter of future. And it is a fleeting vision. In other words, look back, was I ever happy? I want to catch the glimpse of where we were really happy. And you can't really succeed to say, no, that was the time I was absolutely happy. There was always some defect. Let me, oh God, give me happy times. So your mind is imagining happy times will come in future. As long as your mind is dealing in this manner, you are after illusion. No matter how the situations and circumstances are, I have to understand that at deeper level, profounder level, your soul is safe, secure, and you are enfolded by God. So therefore, there is no need to become shaken by prosperity and adversity. Look at them with an equal vision. How much can you do? That describes how much have you advanced. But if you are shaken so easily, that means there is weakness and you need to work upon it. This is illustrated in the Ramayana, Tulsidas. Prasannatam yana gate bhishekata, tathabhi mamle, and so forth. Rama, when he heard that he was going to be coronated as king, as heir apparent to the throne, he didn't express any special elation. He didn't jump up and say, "Oh, I'm going to be the king." And very next day, he was banished because of the plot of Kaikeyi to the forest for 14 years. And he didn't cry out, "What a big injustice." Accepted both with equal vision. This is the great ideal presented by the Ramayana. And that's potential in every individual. You can do it if you have a deeper resource of your spiritual wealth. And realize no matter how things move in your life, you are going to be enriched. You are not a loser. Sometimes when you pass through challenging situations, you are going to become more enriched than if you pass through prosperous situations. That doesn't mean I'm giving you the moral of remain miserable. From a practical point of view, we do always try to avoid adversity. But no matter how much you try, that's the way the world process has been rigged up by God. Because there are many things that have to happen in your life. And your mind will not interpret those things as prosperity. The child, as it grows, has to fall many times. Each time it falls, it doesn't say, "Bravo, I'm getting happy, I'm growing up." The child will cry. And yet all those crying moments and rejoicing moments are part of the growth of the child. Similarly, adversity and prosperity both flow in your life. During adversity, how to bear with it, how to endure it, how to develop strength, that your mind has to figure out. And of course, you learn that you develop love of God, surrender to God, turn to japa, meditation, satsanga. And as you overcome the adversity, you shine. The poetic way of saying, each time when the moon emerges out of a dark cloud, it shines brighter. Believe it or not. I'm joking, but the main point to understand that Each time an adversity has been handled by you in a right way, you find yourself spiritually advanced. I was talking about manonash. Manonash means mind that is not shaken by like and dislike. Now, in order to secure manonash, or whether you like to secure or not, manonash now relates to a change in your subconscious. The vasanas, subtle desires of your subconscious, they undergo a change. And that process called vasana kshaya. Vasanas are like clouds. And a cloud, think of its three stages. Dark cloud. Dark cloud shuts the sun. That's the role of mala, gross impurity. Doesn't allow you to have the joy of an awareness that God sustains you. God doesn't come in your formula. But as you advance, as mala begins to weaken, what happens to cloud? It becomes little vulnerable to light. Light begins to flow through it. That's the description of vasana kshaya. Now, what is happening? The light is not friendly with the cloud. It begins to melt the cloud. Nevertheless, cloud looks at itself. Says, how I'm shining. Give me more. It's a process that you begin to enjoy as you feel that your ego becomes humble. Your pride begins to bow down, and good-heartedness, good qualities begin to develop in your heart. So that's the state of vasana kshaya. When the cloud has become silvery, the light begins to pour through it. Third stage, if the light begins to flow perfectly, it's called tattva jnana, knowledge of the self. Cloud will not stay. Illusions will move away. So all these impurities exist in three levels. Gross level, in day-to-day life, when your eyes become full of strain and face becomes distorted and teeth begin to come out. I'm describing anger. That is the gross. Subtler level, you don't express any of this. But internally, this Christmas, I'm not going to give to this person anything. I'm joking. Internally, you develop a kind of a negative feeling towards a person, a negative will, but don't make any show of it. Then the same is in a subtler level, vasana. The still subtler state is called samskaras. Deep down in your unconscious, there are subtle seeds, and you yourself don't know it. However, don't go into all these details, but as you begin to remove vices, just to reiterate certain things I have told you before, a simple method is SSS. Suppress, substitute, sublimate. Do not allow yourself to be overpowered by these gross negative qualities. Whenever you see that situation is coming, move away from that atmosphere. Anger is coming, close the door. Don't invite him. Go to the refrigerator, take cool drink. All this is, I'm talking in a joking manner, but even that method is practical method. In simple terms, you notice you have negativity in you. Turn your mind to God and worship God, who is the embodiment of divine quality. Say, for example, you want to remove anger within yourself. When you meditate, bring the picture of the deity in your mind, Rama, Krishna, whomsoever, with the attribute, he is absolutely embodiment of love. Anger doesn't exist in him. He is Karuna Sagar, ocean of compassion. When you see a divine quality in God and your mind goes on flowing towards it, something happens, psychological trick. The anger in you gets sublimated. This is the picture of substitute. Allow your mind to turn towards the glory of love, compassion. Think of great sages and how wonderful they felt because of that attainment. And that leads you to sublimation. You come to a state of become absolutely free. So much so you are surprised. Was I angry ever? Twenty-second verse. Etair vimuktah kaunteya tamo dvarai trivirnaraha acharatyatmanah shreyah tato yati param gatim. Free of these gates to hell, one promotes blessedness for the soul. O son of Kunti, and thus attains the supreme goal. All this is said so quickly, but it's a process that must continue with patience without putting a time limit. Just like you never put a time limit about food. That by 50 I will stop eating. Similarly, there is no time limit. How much serenity to enjoy. Now turn your attention to 4 gates to liberation. They counteract these 3 gates to hell. Shama, serenity, which I have described about Rama. Santosh. Santosh is contentment. Contentment, all these terms have to be learned under good guidance. If you have negative qualities and you hear the word contentment, I'm very contented where I am. That's called mithya tushti, false contentment. So don't go after false contentment. Santosh, contentment. Let me give you the subtler points. First point, to have profound understanding and faith. that God has provided for me all that I need for my evolution. And He has given you the mantra of self-effort, Purushartha. So how much can you progress? There is no limit. And of course, your goal is to attain liberation. So for attaining liberation, you don't have to look around and say, oh, that God has given partiality. He has not given me those qualities that will lead me to liberation, but He has given that to my neighbor. You are always comparing with others. That type of meditation must move away. No comparison. With God within you, you are full. Shama, Santosh. Third gate to heaven, not ordinary heaven, liberation. Satsang, good association. Most concentrated type of good association is where you are listening to these talks and trying to understand the subtlety of the scriptures. A broader form of satsang, you evolve an art within your life. Things that allow your mind to become calm, inspired. Follow through those things. It can be yoga exercises. It can be walking in nature. It can be listening to the birds and their twitters. And it can be by your japa, your bhajan. And in fact, if you bring integral yoga in your daily life, serve, love, meditate, all this enter in your daily life, then you are creating satsanga. Mind begins to dwell upon something inspiring. But any action, any situation that deprives your mind of inspiration and begins to degrade your mind, that's not satsanga. That's called kusanga. The kusanga can develop even while you have no sangha around you. Even when you are alone. So run away from that kusanga. Start doing something. Do you know where the devil's workshop is? Empty mind. And the fourth aspect, the fourth gatekeeper, vichar. Vichar is translated as inquiry, or translated as reflection. Who am I? But in this reflective process, you must be absolutely detached, impartial. Otherwise, you begin with, the moment you ask the question, who am I? Oh, I know myself. Those people don't know. Then we're not doing vichar. Vichar is stay detached. Look at your body-mind complex and begin and try to follow that subtle inquiry, who am I? Be guided by scriptural insight. Nothing exists, nothing belongs to me. First point, to allow your mind to be banged by a big truth. All things you are working so hard to attain, they are all, firstly, they are perishable. Even if you think they are real, but for how long? Even the Earth planet itself will one day vanish. But we don't have to wait for that long. Even at this very moment, your experiences are like dream experiences. On your own bed, within seconds, you enter the dream. And in your dream, you become so engrossed, as if you are living in a world that is beginningless, a world that is endless. Everything happens in your dream is a reality. What I'm trying to say is simply because your mind views things real, that doesn't mean it is real. And the illustration is your dream experience. When you wake up, you realize nothing was real. Again, if you are more intellect dominating personality, try to, what is real? The answer comes because the eyes see, and that's what is real. Hand touches, and therefore it is real. But then, what's the source behind your eyes, behind your hand? Your nervous system. What's the source of your nervous system? Your brain and its brain centers. What's the source of your brain and behind all that happens in your brain? A cosmic hand, a cosmic source. So when you are asking, who am I? Your question must lead you to a profound source. Who is the seer? Who is the enjoyer? That who is the absolute self. Jyotisham api tat jyoti. God, light of all lights. And that all this process of understanding based on the study of Brahma Sutras, Upanishads, Gita, they are the basic shastras, scriptures. And of all these scriptures, Gita is a short version of all the scriptures. But even that Gita has to be studied under good guidance. So, 3 gates, Kama, Krodha and Lobha, are to be counteracted by 4 gates of liberation. Shama, serenity. Santosh, contentment. Satsang, good association. Vichar, profound reflection, inquiry into who am I? Nothing exists, nothing belongs to me. I'm neither mind nor body. I'm Satchidananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Opening your mind towards that understanding has many stages. If you are enriched with spiritual samskaras, all these talks will make you very inspired. With inspired mind, you go on studying it, working upon it again and again. That's called swadhyaya, abhyasa. And you allow integral yoga to enter your life, your soul begins to ascend different steps of wisdom. All that happens automatically. Spiritual progress is defined by certain terms. Vikara mukti. Vikar refers to impurities. Impurities, you are not enslaved by impurities. You begin to develop your mastery over them, over anger, hate, etc. That's called vikara mukti. Second point is called vichara vikas. Your reflective process is so limited. From morning till night, what have you been reflecting upon? Headache. I'm joking, but figure out the truth behind. But if malas, gross impurities, they come under your control, your mind develops a different view of life. Every day is a source of inspiration. Not some day in future will be so joyous. Every day, God's presence explodes. The world is filled with His glory. Every moment you are enfolded by divine presence. And that leads you to develop another aspect of your personality. Looking at people, you do not make a negative judgment that these people have come from hell and they deserve to go to hell. Then your vichar, reflective movement is very poor. But when you have vichar vikas, when vichar, reflective movement has become profound, you begin to recognize God's presence in every individual. And I'm giving you the highest limit. All is permeated by Brahman. Even little objects that you touch, even the bones and nails and hairs of your personality, all this is Brahman, the Absolute. That's surprising, that's not scientific. But bring to your mind dream experience. In your dream, think of a situation which was so real. But everything that you were experiencing in that dream, the house, the chair, the roof, the rains, the roaches, the spiders, everything that you were seeing in your dream was your own consciousness, nothing else. Try to prove otherwise. Yah shastra vidhimutsrijya vartate kamakarataha na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. 23rd verse. He who ignores the scriptures and conducts himself according to his own whims does not attain perfection or happiness or the supreme goal. Try to understand the importance of satsanga. Satsanga leads you to become devoted to scriptures. And already I introduced you to scriptures, Brahma Sutras, Upanishads, the Gita. And from a very broad and point of view, all religions, they are scriptures. But the subtle point about religion has to be learned under good guidance, under satsanga. Otherwise, mind creates a deluded version of religion. And that I'm not going into that. The world is there before you for illustration. But coming to the right type, healthy style, if you have studied the scriptures, your conduct changes. Changes in three ways. Manasa, vacha, karmana. Mind, speech, action. This is another interpretation of the word Shastra. Shastra is scripture in Sanskrit called Shastra. Why Shastra? Shasak Traya. Three types of control. Control of your mind. Control, implying control of your thoughts. Control of your speech. And control of your action. All these three are regulated in such a way that your soul attains liberation. That's the implication of Shastra. If you begin to pursue Shastra, what will happen? You become more and more drawn to developing sattva. Sattva guna is purity of nature. Now, purity of nature, if it has not gone to a certain high level, allows you to develop wonderful good karmas. The result of good karmas are experienced in the world of time and space. So you get wonderful life, wonderful prosperity, but not liberation. But you are vulnerable to become liberated. Good karma, if you add a little spice of satsanga, good karma opens the door to something different. So therefore, the great blessings in India is in the terms of bhoga and aishwarya. Bhoga, implying develop good karmas, righteous deeds, and enjoy. Apavarga, attain liberation, become one with God. First stage is called Jaya, attain victory in your life. Second stage, Vijaya, absolute victory. Otherwise, a temporary victory. Go to the heavenly world and come back. Go to heavenly world, come back. That's the ordinary victory. All these are very interesting points in the scriptures. Tashmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavastitavu gyatva shastra vidhanoktam karma karti miharhasi. Therefore, let the scriptures be your guide in determining what is right and what is wrong. Knowing what is in accordance with scriptures, you must perform your duties in this world. And with this chapter ends. Hari Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastri Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Daivasura Sampad Vivaga Yogo Nama Shodashodhyaya. The 16th chapter, known as Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga, that concludes. And you are now entering into Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga, yoga of threefold faith. Shraddha. People are born with samskaras from the past. Led by their samskaras, they automatically begin to follow some path. If those samskaras are positive, you are automatically drawn to sattvic shraddha, high grade, pure faith. Again, understand, faith is your intrinsic nature. If you are not complexed, the soul doesn't want anything more than to attain liberation. That's innate in every individual. But come to a relative world, just like we define health. Health implies that you have no problems. But then you describe it, bad health, good health, terminal situation. Likewise, Shraddha, faith. Arjuna uvacha ye shastra vidhimutsrijya syajante shraddhayanvita tesham nishtha ka Krishna sattvamaho rajastamaha. Arjuna asks, those who renounce the ordinances of the scriptures, again the statement has to be understood well. Renounce doesn't mean you intentionally say, oh, I don't want to follow the scriptures. It simply means that you are automatically drawn by your faith. And when you look into the scriptures, you are surprised. That's what I wanted to do. So those who don't care they do not wait for scriptures. They have already an inclination. Now, that study of that faith-based inclination, what types of faith? And there are three broad types: sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. A proper understanding into this is a vital need for your spiritual evolution. And with this I will conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.